What's going on, moviegoers? If you're new to the channel, my name is Christian. Welcome to C-Real Productions. You guys, I just got out of my 4 o'clock showing of Sony's Morbius. Now let's get to the meat and the potatoes of this spoiler discussion slash review slash reaction slash my thoughts. Morbius was a banger. I absolutely loved this film, start to finish. I do not understand the hatred that this movie is getting. I was so entertained. Everything. There wasn't anything I didn't really dislike other than the weird, dumb post-credit scenes that was clearly done during the reshoots of this film. Look, you guys, I think what really elevated my love for this movie is my love for vampires. I haven't seen a good vampire flick since Dracula Untold. Yes, that's right. I actually enjoyed Dracula Untold. I love vampires. So I think that's what really elevated my love for this. And the look of Morbius was absolutely phenomenal. He was terrifying. He looked just like the comic. He was awesome. Look, you guys, I went into this movie with a lot of the thoughts of what the critics were saying, of how terrible this movie was, you know, other than Grace Randolph, who really liked it, right? So I went in there lowering my expectations and understanding a certain aspect of what I was going to experience. That this isn't an MCU movie, you guys. This isn't going to be on the level of a Black Panther, of an Iron Man, of a Winter Soldier, of a Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings. It's not. It's from a different studio. So I went into that understanding that. And I think that's what helped my level of love for this movie. Look, you guys, the real positives of this movie were the entire cast. Jared Leto and Matt Smith, their believable, lovable relationship from when they were kids in that facility together, because they were both terminally ill, and until the times they were grown-ups. I just loved it. Let's talk about Matt Smith, one of the highlights of the movie, and actually a good villain, a really good villain, which I was so surprised by that. I was like, yo, I can't believe how much I'm really loving Matt Smith's character, Milo. Matt Smith did a phenomenal job portraying the antagonist slash villain of the movie. You understood his motives. He thought that whatever he had was a curse, but a gift as well. And I love that aspect of it. And Jared Leto, his Morbius, Michael Morbius, didn't see eye to eye with him. So he was trying to discover this whole cure to fix himself and fix, Milo, his best friend, and just try to help the world, be the doctor that everybody knows, the award-winning doctor that everybody knows him as. And, he was experimenting with vampire bats, and, one thing led to another. He ended up curing himself, but he made himself into, Morbius the living vampire. And it was just really good. Every relationship in this movie, I was sold on. I was sold on Tyrese and his partner. I was sold on, Morbius and his best friend Milo and his love interest, who is, a vampire now, which was cool with me. I was like, cool, let's broaden this horizon. Let's have more vampires in the Marvel universe, or his childhood caretaker. I forgot his name, but when he died, I felt some sympathy. Like I was feeling for these characters. And this is in the Sony universe, you guys, of Venom. This shit blows Venom and Venom Let There Be Carnage out of the water. Leaps and bounds. It really does. Like, Venom was cool. Venom Let There Be Garbage. Venom Let There Be Garbage. I didn't necessarily like. This movie really had everything I wished it would have had. It had the style of the fighting, the style of the visual effects, the style of the way, the vampires moved and they fought. The third act I thought was phenomenal when, when it comes down to Michael stopping Milo. It was dope. It was fun. I really loved how they captured the style of Morbius and the way these creatures move. I was like, man, the Echo sound location and the way that they used his abilities were really freaking awesome. How he could hear you from miles away, and when he really concentrated, and when he really learned how to fly and leap, and it was just dope. I was like, this is awesome. But I would have loved to seen more blood, because essentially we're dealing with vampires, and vampires is all about blood. We got some artificial blood that Michael Morbius was, groundbreaking discovery of creating and helping people. I like the little tie-in with, Tyrese's character. I always forget his name or whatever, how he was like, yo, if it wasn't for, this blood that you created, you helped, because he was in the military or whatever, and it helped him, with whatever procedure he had done with his arm. So I liked how that tied in. And, that was, that little, fit into the Morbius take. I was like, okay, well, there's that relationship there that, I can kind of sense. And you can see that Tyrese's character definitely kind of felt for Morbius. He was like, well, let's give this guy a shot or something like that. And I really like that. But man, you guys, like I said, like everything about this movie just really landed for me. Like, I didn't think the script was mediocre. I was like, what? I was like, there was a start, a middle, and an end. And it all ran very smoothly. And I was completely fine with it. I was like, yo, this is good. The visual effects were on par. I like the soundtrack. I like, the way New York, it was in New York, right? Yeah, it was in New York. I love the way how that whole looked. And I love how the labs and, Horizon looked. Everything just really landed for me, you guys. Everything did. Jared Leto gave a stellar performance. Like, that's something that you always going into a Leto movie, that if that he's going to deliver a performance. He is. He understands the assignment, and he goes above and beyond with the assignment. And that's what he did with Michael Morbius. He really transformed into that character. I just wished that, they didn't rely heavily on so much of the CGI when it's evolving around him transforming, because I feel like nowadays, like, practical effects, you can really go with it. Practical effects are always the best way to go when you're dealing with vampires. But at the end of the day, they still did a wonderful job with the way he looked. I really liked, the way Matt Smith's Milo character looked. They both looked terrifying. I just loved the way they looked as vampires. I was like, ooh, this is it. This is dope. Yo, I'm excited. I'm excited because now they need to throw Morbius in the MCU. I need to see this character interact with the supernatural characters. I need to see this character part of the Rise of the Midnight Suns. I need to see this character go toe-to-toe with the Daywalker, Mahershala Ali's Blade. That's what I need, you guys. I really, really need that. Oh. Takes my hats off. Daniel Espinosa, the director. Fantastic job, you guys. Post-credit scenes, let's talk about it for a little bit. The downside of the movie, so to say, didn't really quite make sense. Adrian Toomes, Michael Keaton's the Vulture, apparently like transported into a different multiverse, right? So now he's in this universe, and he was like randomly in this cell, he's not in the cell, and all of a sudden he has, his Vulture outfit. I'm like, what? But it has an upgrade, which looks pretty cool. But I was like, how did you get in contact with Morbius? Like, that just makes no sense to me. How'd you get, like, I'm putting a team together. I think a couple of guys like us, we can do some good, Spider-Man. I was just like, what? So what universe, this universe obviously takes place in Venom's universe, but we don't know if this Venom and this universe has a Spider-Man that we've met. It's not Tobey. It could be Andrew Garfield. It's not Tom Holland. So it is going to be a completely different Spider-Man. Which is okay with me, I don't know. It was just very confusing to me. Very confusing, and I could have done definitely without the post-credit scenes. I feel like they were kind of just shoehorned in there. Even the ending when you see like the purple cracks of the multiverse breaking, I was like, the CGI on that was pretty bad. And I was like, you go back and look at Spider-Man No Way Home, it looked really good. But I feel like in this movie, it looked terrible. I was like, oh God, like, come on now. Like I said, it was probably last minute. They shoehorned it in, and they're like, you know what, this is what we're going to go with. And this is potentially going to lead into a Sony Sinister Six Spider-Man against what Spider-Man? No idea. But, if Adrian Toomes, as Vulture's putting a team together, so far, what? They have Venom, if they end up going with that. They have, Morbius, Vulture. That's 3 people. I don't know necessarily where they would go. I doubt Doc Ock would return, or William Dafoe's Green Goblin. They were all cured. So where do you go now? Like, what's your new team? Sandman's not there. Electro's not there. So they're all cured and they went back to their universes. A little bit confusing, like I said. Don't know what's going to happen. But post your comments down below. Let me know what you guys thought about Morbius. Thoughts and opinions. I really want to know how you guys felt. And are you guys on the side of the rare side of actually enjoying this movie like me? Post your comments down below and let me know what you guys think. Peace.